switch to the sermon slides, that'd be great. I think we've gotten kind of the point of the text there. You did an excellent job, so thank you. So I want to tell you about a friend of mine. He's about your age, cadets. And he happens to be the smartest kid in his class. He always gets straight A's. He likes to play hockey. I think he's the best player on his team. He's the fastest skater. He's got the hardest slap shot, but he always wants to pass the puck and to help his friends, help his teammates to do better. At home, he's really helpful too. He's always doing chores around his house. His parents never have to ask him to do his homework because he always gets it done as soon as he gets home. He always wants to help out. He's in cadets too. And he knows how to do all the different knots that cadets learn. And he knows all the different crafts. He's really good at using saws and drills and everything. Last year when he went to the snowdrift, he was able to light a fire on his own in under 3 minutes. And he didn't use a lighter or matches. My friend is the best friend that anyone could ever ask for. He's the best at everything, and he's always helping people. Always doing for others what they need. So cadets, I have a question for you. Who wants to be this friend of mine? We got a couple of people? Okay. Now, does anyone think that they could be this kind of friend? The kind of friend that I was talking about? Do you think you could do all those things to be the best in your class, that's like the highest marks, to be the best on your hockey team, to always pass it, to be the biggest helper at home? No, it'd be tough to do all that, wouldn't it? Even just a couple of those things, it would be really hard to do. So in the text that Dean read, we read from the letter to Corinthians what Paul wrote to the Corinthian people. And the Apostle Paul, who wrote the letter, he'd been talking to another church. He's talking to the church in Macedonia. And when he's talking to this church in Macedonia, he's telling them about his friends in Corinth. And he was telling this other church all the good things that the church in Corinth, the Corinthian people, what they wanted to do and what they had promised to do. One of the things that they told Paul was that they were going to collect lots of money for the church in Jerusalem because the church in Jerusalem needed to have that money. And Paul was telling the church in Macedonia that the Corinthian church said they were going to help, they really wanted to. And so Paul was using their words to help the church in Macedonia to understand that they too can help. But then all of a sudden, the church in Corinth decided that they weren't able to be as helpful as they thought they would be. So Paul sent his friend Titus to Corinth to collect the money that they had promised to give. And when Titus got there, they didn't have all the money that they had promised them. It's like they realized that if they gave this money away, that they'd have nothing left for themselves, that they weren't able to buy the things that they wanted or to do the things they wanted if they were trying to help other people. It kind of be like this, if on a Monday night after supper, your dad says, hey, on Saturday, I'm going to clean up the garage, or I'm going to clean up the shop, and I want you to help. Can you help me on Saturday? And so on Monday night, you say, sure, Dad, I'd love to help. And the week goes by, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You get to Friday night, after cadets, one of your friends says, hey, I just got this great big four-wheeler. You want to sleep over tonight and ride my four-wheeler with me tomorrow? It'll be a lot of fun. And you go home and you say, please, or your dad comes to pick you up and say, please, Dad, please, can I go? Please, can I go? And he says, but remember, son, we're cleaning the shop tomorrow. Aren't you going to help me? Lots of times in life, I think that we want to be helpful. We want to do things for other people, and we want to do our best to help them out. But when it comes time to help, we realize that it's going to be much harder than we first thought it would be. Helping someone else might mean that we have to miss out on doing something that we wanted to do. Helping out might also mean that we have to do something that's really hard to do. Some people think that what I'm doing right now, standing in the front of the church, is the hardest thing that they'll ever be asked to do. I used to be one of those people. And today's Cadet Sunday, so Dean was asked to come up, and Dean was asked to lead the litany. And I'm sure that when you were first asked, you thought, sure, I can do that. That's not hard. But then this morning, as you came up here, I'm sure it was a lot harder just to stand here with all these people watching you than when we first thought it would be. Helping people usually comes at a cost to ourselves. It might cost us money. It might cost us time. It might make us do things that we really don't want to do. And it might keep us from doing the things that we want to do. But in our text, we're told that God has blessed us so that we can be a blessing to others. Your verse for this year says, and God is able to bless you abundantly, so that in all things, at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every good work. Now there's two words in this verse that we don't use all the time, and I want to make sure that we understand what it means. So cadets, I'm going to ask, does anyone know what abundantly means? Or abundant? It's kind of a tough word, isn't it? It means in large quantities or plentiful. And it can also mean extremely or exceedingly. So if God blesses you abundantly, it means that you have more than enough. You have all that you need, and that you have extra so that you can share it with others. You know what kinds of things Paul's talking about here? The first thing he talks about is money. He was collecting money for the church in Jerusalem. He wanted the Corinthians and the Macedonians to give money because that's what they needed in Jerusalem. But then Paul says that because God will bless them, the Corinthians will abound in every good work. And now there's the other word that we're talking about, one that we don't use very often. Abound. Does anyone know what abound means, cadets? No? Abound means to have a large number of, to thrive or to flourish. But I'll tell you a little secret. If you're to read the Bible in Greek, read this verse in Greek. The word that they have for abundance and for abound is almost the same word. It's almost exactly the same. There's only a few letters different. And so they mean kind of the same thing. That when we are given abundantly, when God blesses us abundantly, that means we have a lot to give, right? We receive a lot, so we have a lot to give. And what Paul wants his reader, what he wants us to understand, is that God gives us lots so that we can have a lot to give to others. Now, do you think in this verse it says what we will give lots of? It said every good work, but it doesn't say, just one or two or three different things. It's that everything that you do, that you'll be able to give. That you will abound in every good work. And so he started talking about money, but then he says that God blesses us so that we can be a blessing in all that we do. And he says that we should be a blessing to others in all the things that we do. And as I was reading this verse, I was reminded of another verse. One that you read much earlier in the Bible, in Genesis 12, verses 2 and 3. And I don't know if you guys have had this remembering work in school yet or not, but if you haven't, you probably will. And in these verses, God says this to Abraham. He says, I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and all peoples on earth will be blessed through you. So do you know what Abraham thought about this? What do you think he first thought when he heard these words? I was something like this. Okay, God, I will trust you, but I don't even have a son. So I don't know how you're going to do this. And for a long time, I think Abraham wondered how God was going to do this, how he was going to make him into a great nation. He trusted God, but there were times that he doubted. He didn't know how God was going to do this, and so sometimes he tried to do it in his own way. But the things that he did weren't what made him into a great nation. In the end, it was how God had planned it. What God did made him a great nation so that he would bless all peoples. And you know how he blessed all peoples through Abraham? Well, Abraham had a son, had a son, had a son, and so on and so on. And eventually we had Jesus. Jesus is a descendant of Abraham, and this was God's plan of how he wanted to bless all people through Abraham. Because today, we have Christians living in every country in this world. And as Christians, we are all called to be a blessing and to bless others because we have been blessed. Now, we heard this morning that there are a few different countries that the cadets are in, but cadets are definitely not in every country of the world. But there are lots of cadets in this country, in the United States, and in churches all across these two great countries. And today, what they're doing is they're having Cadet Sunday just like we are. And there are pastors like me who are talking to them about being a blessing and helping them to know that they can bless others too. So what are some ways that you think you can be a blessing? Maybe you're a kind person. That God has blessed you with kindness. And so you can be a blessing by being kind. Maybe there's a lonely boy in your class or in your cadet club who needs a friend, who needs you to be kind to him. Maybe you're a kid who gets upset when things seem unfair, when things don't seem right. And the way that you can be a blessing is by standing up for others when you see that they're being treated unfairly. Maybe you're really good at with your hands, working with tools or something like that. And the way that you can be a blessing is to help others on their projects in cadets, or to help out your dad at home or your mom, or in other ways, using your hands and doing things that you were good at. And at the beginning of the service, when you stood up and you were asked what your pledge was, you said this: "Thankful to God for his gifts to me, I pledge myself ready to serve God, my parents, my country, my church, my neighbor, and my corps." And you know what this is about? This is about each one of you saying, I want to be a blessing. I want to bless others. I want to bless my church. I want to bless God. I want to bless my neighbor. And I want to bless my cadet club. And there are lots of ways that you can do that. There are lots of different things that we can do. And it's important to know, boys, that we can bless others because God has blessed us. It is him who helps us to be a blessing. So you might be sitting here thinking, I don't know what I can do to bless others. I don't know how I can do it. It's scary. It's hard. It's not something that's easy to do. But the last thing I want you to hear, the last thing I want to say to you this morning, is that God will help you by his Holy Spirit. And he'll help you to know what ways that you can be a blessing to others. So let's get out there and be a blessing to this world. Let us pray. Dear Father in heaven, I give thanks for these cadets. I give thanks for their counselors. I give thanks for the call that you have given them to be a blessing, Lord. To extend the blessing that they have received from you, and to bless others by their actions and by the things that they do, Lord, and just by their words as they share with others. We pray for all of us, Lord, as we are gathered here, that we may each one be a blessing to you and be a blessing to our world, Lord. Help us to shine your light so that others may know that you are